So nice to be here. Thank you everybody for showing up. It's 3:01. Secretary Marcos, do you mind taking roll call to see who is present for today?
Richard Bookwalter.
Here.
Lena Doe.
Here.
Denise Miller.
Here.
Jeff Farrell. Not here yet. Sharon Pavlovich.
Here.
Beata Marcos here.
Thank you, Beata. We do have a quorum. I'm not sure about Jeff, but maybe he'll chime in. Maybe we'll hear from him. But we do have a quorum, so we will move forward. We have a quorum for agenda item number 1. Agenda item number 2, President's remarks. I just, before us, we have, one of the hopefully last iterations of the sunset review, and we're going to discuss today. And I just wanted to be able to share my gratitude to board staff for making this happen. It's nice to get a colored copy and to see the effect of the report. And so I know a lot of sweat and tears have gone into this, and we're still not done, but it looks so beautiful, and I'm sure we'll have some discussion about that. But thank you so much for the work that you've done to make this happen. It's really, really appreciated. So I'd like to open it up to see if any of our board member have any comments that they want to share.
I have a quick thing. I'd sent an email out. I mean, I don't want to. I want to mention that Jeff Hansen's retirement discussion will be postponed for a future, like the first meeting of the new year.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Richard. Any other board member discussion or? No. Okay. With that, we'll move on to agenda item number 4, public comment session for items not on the agenda. I had a request to put forward on a future agenda item, which will be January. It's our next meeting because it's kind of time sensitive, to relook at the meeting dates for 2022. So we will go ahead and put that on the agenda for January. And is there any other board comment, or before I go to public comment on anything, any discussion for items for a future agenda? If not, Shelley, do you mind if we open it up for public comment and invite, if anybody is here, we can invite them to say hi, or if they want to, chime in and put any
That our board president
suggest any
more than that we don't know.
Denise, you're not on mute, just FYI. Sorry.
Yes, sorry, we have opened the Q&A panel. And if anybody would like to make a public comment, you can click on that Q&A icon, type comment into the text field, and send that to our panelists. You can also utilize that raised hand feature by locating the icon next to your name. That you'll find that when you hover over your name, and if you click on that hand icon, it will activate the raised hand feature. Seeing no requests for comment, would you like me to close the panel?
Yes, please. Thank you, Shelley.
It is closed.
Okay. That takes us right into the meat in agenda item number 5, Sunset Review Committee's report and recommendations to the board regarding their section A, acceptance of the October 14, 2021 committee meeting. And then we'll go to B, but if you let's move to that section. The acceptance, and that's just, we'll see, unless there's any discussion or board comments. The majority of us that are here today were on the committee, and so that brought the information that we've discussed from the Sunset Committee's report and recommendations here. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like Jeff's here, so Lena, a lot of this information will be new to Lena, but let's take a look at agenda item number 5. It starts again with the committee meeting minutes. and just see if anybody has any other questions. I know, again, several of us has looked it over, but maybe we caught something the second time, or, you know, if we're okay. I think we'll go in sections, and if there's no discussion, maybe we can make, you know, emotions at the end, but just for these first ones, we'll kind of look at, you know, that seem a little bit more self-explanatory, unless anybody has other options, excuse me. So any discussion on the meeting minutes for October 14th? If none, and please feel free to put your video on if you have any questions. That helps flag, and so we can identify anybody who wants to chime in. And any discussion for the teleconference sunset review meeting highlights for Tuesday, November 16th? None? Okay. Heather, just as a reminder, if there's nothing, we can hold the motion till the end, or do you want us to kind of make a motion now? I'm so sorry, just want to make sure.
Yeah, so I would ask that there is a motion for the board to accept the committee meeting minutes if possible.
Okay,
I would appreciate that. Thank you.
thank you. Is there any motion?
I'll move that we accept both sets of meeting minutes for October and November meeting.
Okay.
I'll second.
A first by Richard, a second by Denise. Okay, Beata, do you mind taking a vote? Wait a minute. Oh, I always remember.
Comment first.
Board discussion, and then we don't do the vote till after public comment. Remind me, why do I always forget that?
Public comments first, and then we do the vote.
Yeah. Okay, public comment, Shelley? Thank you, Beata.
Of course.
I don't know why that's a stickler for me.
I've again opened the Q&A panel. If anybody would like to make a comment, please click on that Q&A icon on the screen, type comment into the text field, and submit that to our panelists. You may also click on that hand icon that appears next to your name when you hover over it, and that will raise your hand. And not seeing any requests, would you like me to close the panel?
Yeah, Shelley, thank you. Okay, so there was a motion and a second. Beata, could we call the vote?
Of course. Richard Bookwater,
Yes.
Lena Doe,
Yes.
Denise Miller,
Yes.
Jeff Farrell is not here. Sharon Pavlovich
Yes.
and Beata Morcos, yes.
Okay, motion carries. Thank you for that, for the acceptance of the minutes. Okay, and that moves us for the next items. And if you'll see the table of contents, I don't know about your packet, but I know in mine I have two table of contents. And just to point out, as we look at that before we go into that, there are a couple of errors that I think I just was going to speak to really quickly if you guys caught them. On the table of contents, there are two section 6s, and I think one is meant to be a section 5. It's probably the biggest one I had. And then I had, my packet was missing section 7, but I think I got that all worked out, so I'm good there. Did anybody catch anything? Are you guys okay with the table of contents? Other than those, did anybody catch anything else? No? Okay, if not, you know, we'll look at that and we'll take that with section number 1, which is the background description of the board. This section, like I said, it looks so nice to see it in color with the blue headers and all the information that's here. We'll go by sections and see if there's anything that's changed, and if not, we'll just keep going and then we can make a motion at the end. Of course, if we do have amendments or any other discussion, we'll stop and then have a discussion and take a vote there. So for section number 1, does anybody have any additions to add? Any changes? How does it look? Any dialogue? Are we okay with it?
Sharon, could you just, are we skipping the Tuesday, November 16 meeting minutes, the highlights, or are we not supposed to vote on that?
Oh, Beata, I thought that's what Richard's motion was to accept I had not, I'd announced those two.
That was the October 14th meeting minutes.
Yeah, and then I said, and then also, does anybody have any comments on Tuesday? I said that, right? Did anybody have any comments,
Yeah,
Richard?
Oh,
my
I
motion
thought we were
included
voting
both.
only on October 14th. I mean, either way.
My motion was for both the October and the November minutes. I kind of did them together, so I hope that's
Oh, okay. I didn't catch that. Sorry. Thank
Okay.
you.
Beata, do you want to go back? Is there anything about it that's different?
No, it's all perfect.
Okay,
No, thank
okay.
you.
Sorry.
I have a question, if I may.
Yeah.
So, but the meetings for the 16th serve as a nice springboard for helping us go through the sunset report today based on how you're guiding us through it. Is that correct, Sharon? Or President?
Yeah,
Perfect.
and this, right, we had the meeting highlights, right? So to help us guide, because we had that huge discussion, Denise, on some of the issues that we were gonna try to bring back and look at the corrections and those kinds of things. So yes. Does that help? Okay. Let me know if you guys have any questions or anything. Okay, for section 1 in the background, description of the board, looking that over for this time, this second round. Any discussions on the information that was contained in here and how you see it in its near, maybe perfect condition? And I know, Lynn, this is all new and the first time you've seen it. So if you have any questions, please chime in.
Of course. So I know that you mentioned that the majority of the board is on this committee, and I trust you guys' experience and background on this. So I'm following your lead, but I have read it and looked at it, and I think it's a wonderful presentation.
Yeah, they did a good job. The board did a fabulous job, right, Linda? Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if by any means, Linda, if something comes up and you notice something, please, I'm sure you'll chime in, but just a reminder, let us know.
Of course.
Okay. Are we okay with section 1, everybody? No amendments, no changes? We think it reflects the discussion that we had.
I think there's just a missing semicolon on page 2.
Where at, Richard?
The bullets at the bottom of the page. I think at the end of the first line there should be a semicolon.
The bullets, can you say the sentence, Richard, and then it's like the sentence and then, where it's missing?
The bottom of we're on the wrong page now. Oh, no, we're not. Go down a little bit. If you could scroll down, it says to accomplish its mission, the board, and then there's first bullet, ensures only eligible and qualified individuals are issued a license, semicolon. Because the other one has a semicolon, so just as a missing semicolon.
Okay.
So it's non-substantive.
This is Heather. Thank you. We have added that.
Thanks. And on the following page in section number, subsection 1, it refers to an attachment B, section 13, attachment B. I could not find the attachment B in my packet, so I just want to make sure that it's there when. I know the attachments weren't labeled, and so maybe I just missed it. But
Richard, it's actually on page 97.
it is okay.
And so it's the second one. So after the board manual, it turns sideways and then.
Oh, okay. So it's that flow chart that's sideways. So
Yeah.
what is B plus 1? Oh, there's no other B. There's no B plus B.2 then, or whatever, right? Okay.
Just 1 second, please. We need to add B.1, which is the names.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Sure, thank you.
Any others, Richard? No, that's it for section 1? No, okay. Any other comments for section 1? No. Heather, for the non-substantive changes, I'm thinking we don't have to take a vote until the end if we just keep moving smoothly, and just kind of put that in the motion at the end. Is that okay?
Yes, I would say keep, these are real minor, well, I mean, leaving a section out is not minor, but I mean, like the semicolon and correcting the 6 to the 5, those are minor, and we are noting those to make sure that they are included before this is sent to print.
Okay.
Thank
Yeah. Moderator, could you open it up to see if there's any public comment on section 1, please? Shelley, thank you.
Absolutely. We've opened that Q&A panel again. If anybody has a comment on this, you can click on that Q&A icon on the screen, type comment into the text field, and submit that to our panelists. You can also utilize that hand raise feature. And President Pavlovich, if you'd like, I can leave the QA panel open throughout your discussion on this item, and then people can drop in questions as they have them. And then if we don't see any, we can just keep rolling and then do a check back in with everybody at the end if we haven't received any.
Yeah, that sounds like a great idea, Shelley. Thank you.
You're welcome. And I'm not seeing any at this time.
Okay, we'll keep rolling. If you note any, Shelley, please let me know.
I will.
Okay. Okay, guys, as we move on to section 2, performance measures and customer satisfaction surveys, we see the graphs in all their glory and their color. Any discussion on these and the information that's provided or the graphs? Are we okay with what we see here? Okay, it looks like no discussion. We're okay with section 2. Shelley, I don't see any hands up. Is that correct?
Correct, none at this time.
Okay, great. Let's go on to section 3, fiscal and staff. Any discussion on the information that's contained here by our board or public? Okay, it looks like we're okay with section number 3.
Actually, I have one correct very minor thing.
Oh, yes,
That's
please, Richard.
the very last paragraph of section 3. And again, it's just a non-substantive change. Licensees in the second line of the last paragraph, I believe, is a plural instead of a possessive.
On page 27, last paragraph, Richard.
Yes, the page we're looking at. Nope, the page we were just looking at. The bottom paragraph, it says licensees apostrophe S.
Oh, page 26. Sorry.
Yeah,
This-
I'm sorry, I don't have a page. I can't see. Oh, yeah, it is page 26. I believe it's there should be no apostrophe in licensees.
Heather, got it?
Sorry, I was trying to get to the unmute. Yes, thank you. We have that identified as well. Richard is correct.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any other discussion? If not, and we still don't see any public members, excuse me. Section 4, licensing program. Any conversations?
Oh, this is Richard. Some of the formatting is again formatting under 19. The board is a hanging indent, and I'm not sure why that is. And that happens a couple other places. So if that could just be checked.
Yeah. That last paragraph on page 27, right, Richard? And any other pages that you see a hanging indent, correct?
Yeah, I had a couple, just two. I think 2 of them, maybe 3, that I found when I was reading.
I see the last paragraph on 27.
Yeah, this is Heather. There's also one on page 59 that we identified post print. And that will be corrected when we send it to the Office of Publication, Editing and Design. They're going to double check that type of spacing. They're going to make a, professional cover, and they'll go in and, align things, etc.
Okay, thank you, Heather. Any other discussion for section number 4? Okay, and then just to note on the table of contents section, no, I'm sorry, did I cut somebody off on section 4, Heather?
No, I just wanted to, before you moved on from section 4, I did want to mention that information I emailed today regarding question 23 that starts on page 37.
Yes.
I just, no one's seen this yet. So I hopefully folks, sorry for the short turnaround. Hopefully folks had a chance to look at that and, have comments and would share them if they would like to see something edited. Thank you.
Oh, I'm sorry, Heather, I put it so good into my packet, it didn't even stand out. Oh, that's right. Okay, so question number 23, the stuff that's highlighted that we got in the email today is brand new, so it hasn't been voted on. And so we need to make sure that we look at that and those 2 pages that say context, current text below on page 37, and then we see item number 23, followed by A, B, C, D, and E. So since this is the first time we are looking at it when we got it, were there any questions, anything we need to fix on these?
Because that's in the. No, this is right here. She said it's a new information, Gina.
I have a question, if I may.
Of course, Denise.
So just to make sure I understand that, what is in our book is not the most updated. It is the email that we received today, correct? Is that what was just stated?
Yes.
Oh, go ahead, Heather.
I just want to, so on your screen, you see there's a paragraph that reads a review of the qualification requirements, and below that are A, B, C, and D, and E, they are listed. And so those at the responses to those sub questions A through E are what was emailed today.
Okay, just if I may, okay. Heather, do you mind, if it's okay, do you mind just identifying one more time what's different? Sorry to ask this for the rest of the board. I started the morning off 5 minutes from your office in Sacramento, and I've started the meeting off here in Los Angeles. So there's been no time in between to read additional emails. Is there something, can you identify very specifically what?
Yes, so on
Thank
page
you.
37 in the materials that were sent to you, there is 4 paragraphs talking about the board's process. Below that, though, are questions A, B, C, D, and E. In the materials, only the questions are listed. In the 1.5-page email that was sent today, the questions with a proposed response, that's what was sent emailed today.
And but the proposed responses aren't what's up here, right?
That is correct.
Okay.
This is the loaded materials of what was sent out.
One last question, Sharon, or President Pavlovich, are we voting on this?
Yes, because it's the first time that we've seen this information, so that we do need to have some kind of conversation on this new information that we're seeing here.
Okay, so I have, okay. May I have 1 moment just to do a quick compare, to see the highlighted aspect of I have the email side by side now.
Yeah, of course. Let us know. Just chime on when you're ready.
Thank you. Sorry to everyone. Thank you. Thank you for providing the time.
No problem, Denise. So how are we feeling about the information that's included in terms of the responses to A, B, C, and D? Are we okay with the information?
Richard, I'm okay with them.
Heather, because this is a new item that we're looking at, do you want us to make a motion right now, since we're on this section, to be able to amend it formally? Or to be able to include it?
It looks like the only other change was to this section was the indent on page 27. If you want to direct staff to include the proposed suggestions, that could be a direction. And then when that motion is made, you can say, along with edits made throughout or something, and maybe Helen can help you craft a motion that incorporates all of these edits that are made today.
Oh, so I'm so sorry. So do it. It's probably good to do it right now.
Oh, well, I mean, Richard said he was fine. I don't know,
Yeah, I'm okay with it too.
If board members are fine, there's consensus, then, directing staff to add this to the sunset report, that will be sufficient.
Oh, great. Okay. Denise and Beata, are we okay with it, or directing board staff to include it in the report?
This is Lena. I'm fine with that.
Okay. Thank you, Lena.
Same here.
Same? Okay.
Same.
Okay. Thank you, Denise. Thank you, Beata. Thank you, Lena and Richard. Okay. So can we direct that, Heather, to board staff to go ahead and include that for the final sunset review report?
Yes, we will. Thank you.
Okay. Shelley, I don't see any questions regarding section 4 from the public. Am I correct?
Correct, I do not either.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I have one more question. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I just realized it's on page 38 under examinations number 25. It says, and I just was, it says, it's about the California specific examination not being required. There is a sentence that says a review of the national examinations will assess the validity of the examination content for California practice. Could you go to the next page, please, on the display?
One moment, please.
Thank you. So under 25, examinations 25, the paragraph that starts currently says currently a California specific examination is not required. A review of the national examinations will assess the validity of the examination content for California practice and determine if competency is unique to California need to be assessed via a California specific examination. There's a space there, but anyway, the reason I was not sure about that is we're doing a review of the national examinations, or who's to assess the validity? I'm just
This is Heather. So there's a statutory requirement that the Department of Consumer Affairs conduct an occupational analysis and validate a national exam to determine whether or not there are competencies unique to California that would require a California specific exam. And so we basically have just explained that process there.
okay, so that's happening.
Requirement. It has not happened, but it is a law that it should happen.
Okay. That sounds good. So, and then on page 43, I think there's a subject verb agreement problem, the last page of the document, of the section 4. That was, no, you had the right page. Oh, under E. It's the second paragraph says the board also accepts coursework or programs that contributes directly to, and is objectively measurable. So coursework or programs, I think you would, I mean, contribute or and are objectively measurable, I think might sound better. Although it is coursework or programs, which I guess you could get away with.
This is Heather. I believe the S should be removed from contributes.
And then the is objectively the next line.
Well, that's taken out of reg, but and it did not come up with a grammar check. We did run the spell check and a grammar check. But
What's the well, graph that sentence. Okay.
I think the S for sure. I think the is okay. No, Richard? Because referencing, are you looking at verb agreement?
What is being objectively measured?
Coursework? See, coursework and programs, it's funny, right? The board also accepts coursework or programs directly to professional.
Or is it the knowledge skill? If it's the knowledge, skill, and ability that is objectively measurable, then that's fine. Anyway, just wanted to draw attention to it, and you guys will fix it however.
We'll send that to board staff to look at the grammar part of it, Heather, if that's okay.
yes, thank you.
Okay. Any other discussion for section number 4? If not, I don't see, Shelley would tell me that we saw any public comment. I don't see any. So let's move to section number 5, enforcement program. Any discussion on information here?
Hi, it's Richard again. I just wanted to say I really liked what was in section 34, the answer to 34, where you talk about investigations and then how internal controls increase the investigation. That's a good explanation for the spike in investigations that took place. Because the explanation, that's a good thing to point out to the committee. But on 36, on page 52, I was not sure I could find attachment H. It's mentioned in item 36. And the first one talks about attachment, the complaint prioritization guidelines.
Richard, where do you see that?
It's on page 160 in section 13. It follows the graphs with the cycle times. It actually goes on page 160 and 161. It immediately precedes the closed session.
Thank you. Yes, I found.
Okay, thank you.
Now I see it. Thank you. I couldn't find it when I was reviewing. Sorry about that.
No, that's good. We need all these double checks because you can see where, it's a lot of moving parts. Thank you.
I have no further comments on this section.
No other board member comments and no public comment?
No
Okay.
public comment.
Okay, thank you, Shelley. Let's move on to section number 6. This is also the title. We're going to compare. I think, Heather, I'm sorry, I'm going to look at the title correct. This is one here. It says section 6, public information policies, but I think is this supposed to be titled Enforcement Division, Heather? I think.
No, actually, this is correct. The blue banners with the sections and the labels are correct.
Okay.
It was in the table of contents that the topics were listed correctly, but section 6 was duplicated. So
Okay.
it's changing the enforcement one to a number 5 only in the table of contents, but this one's good.
Okay, thank you. We're okay with section number 6?
I'm okay with section 6.
Okay. No other board comment and no public comment?
No public comment.
Okay, thank you. How about section number 7?
Nothing for section 7 for me.
I don't see anybody's video on, so I'm thinking section 7's okay too, and I also see no public comment.
I have a comment.
Thank you, Lena, please.
I guess it's paragraph 3. When it says the board currently regulates oh, that's just a minor spelling, yes. Because I was like occupation ALO. It should be one word. The spacing is there.
The spacing with that
Yeah.
second paragraph
Yeah,
there.
I was
No,
gonna
okay.
say what is AL, but then as I'm reading it, I was like, oh, it's occupational. All right,
Okay,
that's my only comment.
thank you, Lena.
Uh-huh.
This is Heather. That's a spacing issue that picked up in the PDF. If you look in the actual printed materials, there's not a spacing issue on this.
Yeah,
This is
that's
the
why I
section
didn't
one.
see it before, but now I'm looking it on the PDF.
Yeah,
That's where I'm
it's
seeing
only on the PDF, I think, in making it ADA compliant that there's these slight kerning issues, if you will.
Okay,
But
thank you.
yeah, it will, once it reproduced, it will look like the printed version that was sent.
Yeah, I was just confused about what AL was, and that was my question. And then as I'm reading it, it made sense.
Thank you, Lena. Any other discussion on section number 7? Seeing none and seeing no public comment, we'll move on to section number 8, workforce development and job creation. Any comments here?
Yeah, just the hanging indents on 60 and 62, but those will be taken care of.
Nice to highlight all of them, but to have them per section is helpful too. Thank you, Richard. No other comments on section number 8 and no public comment. And please, if I'm going too fast or slow, let me know. Let's go to section number 9, current issues. Any discussion on what we see here before us? Okay, seeing no board videos come up and seeing no public comment for section number 10. And if Heather, if I'm remiss on any information, please let me know. Let's move from section. Yes.
Hi, Shelley. I believe that Jeff is trying to log on. He's in.
I was just gonna say, I have somebody in the attendee list and I was wondering if it was him. I'm gonna promote him. And Jeff, I do not see that you have an audio connection right now. There we go. And if you want to test that microphone. You are currently muted. Member Farrow, if you can hear us, if you could unmute your microphone so we can do a microphone test. And if you are connected with both a computer and your phone for audio, you will need to make sure that both of them are unmuted. Okay, he doesn't seem to be able to hear us. If maybe staff could reach out and double check with him.
Okay, Shelley, as soon as they do and he's on board, just someone let us know, okay? Otherwise, we'll continue forward. Thank you, Shelley. Okay, I think we're okay with section number 9. Is that correct? Yeah, thank you, Richard. Okay, section number 10, board actions and responses to COVID-19.
I believe there may be an extra comma in under board meetings, the whatever third, fourth paragraph where it says board meetings. It says board and committee meetings move to a virtual platform via WebEx or Teams. I don't think after board committee meetings, comma moved. I think that comma may be extra. If it could be checked.
After committee meetings, right? That comma, Richard, the first one?
That's the one I was thinking should be checked.
Okay. Any other discussion? I appreciate this section. All those sections are good, but nice to see that we have a plan of action for COVID-19 and how we've been able to respond and go to our meetings and WebEx and those kinds of things. So no other discussions for section number 10 or no public comment? If not, let's take a look at section number 11 and see if there's any comments there.
This is Richard again, very minor issues, all of these. Under issue number 3, it says, should the CBOT take additional steps to require licensees to attestation in its application? I think it's attest, but maybe I'm wrong.
I think you're right, Richard.
But anyway, and then on issue number 6 on page 73, there's an acronym, the National Provider Database is the NPDB, and in one of the times it's mentioned, the B and the D are out of order.
Richard, what paragraph?
It's page 73 in the first full paragraph. It says NPDB, then it says NPBD, and then it says NPDB a couple times more. But I mean, it's just very minor.
The acronym's mixed up, right? We have to make consistent with the acronym, correct?
Yeah, there's just one. The second one or the third one, depending on how you look at it, is BD instead of DB.
Okay.
And that's all I had for this section.
No comments from the board, no public comment. Let's move forward to section number 12, new issues. And this is one, trying to remember. When we look at this one, for the section new issues, you'll see, if you look at the OTD committee recommendations and edits to business of professions codes, it's right after that green sheet. So this was something, right, that we developed we talked about and developed at the November meeting. And so I think here we need to decide, because this was the document section, and I'm looking at the OTD committee, this is right after section 12, 2570.4 and 2570.6. If this is the document we see where we put replacing doctorate with doctoral. And so is this something that we want to put in section 12, number 2 is in terms of new issues, because we created this in November, but there was a discussion. And so is this this document where we talked about this language, where we had a lot of discussion about it. Is this something that we formally want to put into section number 12 under new issues?
This is Heather. Just maybe if I could clarify, at the November meeting, the board did say they wanted to move forward with these legislative changes regarding the doctoral degree and the capstone. And the thing is, there was no part of that didn't include going into the sunset report. And so the reason I put this here is because if it was included, in item number 12 under new issues in that section 2, I'm sorry, section 12, item 2, new issues identified by the board. Adding that language there and requesting that it be new legislation introduced is not as big of a lift as it would be to just get someone to sponsor and carry the bill to effectuate that language. So that's one of the reasons I brought it back this way, specifically asking if you do want to move forward with this, that it is a slightly easier path to include that in the sunset report and go that direction. I just wanted to clarify that. Thank you.
That's so helpful, so articulate, way better than I did, Heather. So it's actually for the looking at new legislation, correct? And then being able to put that in the sunset review just as a Cliff Note version of your
Right.
synopsis.
It's a different avenue to get the language into a bill rather than just going and contacting legislative staff and going that route to try to get it.
How does the board feel about that?
That was the question. I had a question about that because I noticed that there were some like cutoffs, like for instance, our meeting attendance was cut off until like July. So I was wondering if we could include stuff that was discussed after our July board meetings and all committee meetings. And is there, I mean, if that is possible, then I think this is a great way to do it. Because that way, as Heather mentioned, it's another way and a faster way to get it included. But I was just wondering if there was like a cutoff of like what we could include in the sunset report.
If I can respond, Sharon, yeah, okay. So the cutoff in that board member attendance was really specifically in response to those questions in the legislative sunset questions that were provided to us. The cutoff is a self-imposed cutoff by you all. I mean, if you want it to go into the report up until when you adopt the report and say, let's do this, things can be included. And so there's not really a cutoff. And that's one of the reasons I thought, well, I know that the board just approved this, like less than a month ago, except that I didn't really have the foresight at the time to say, do you want a second motion to include this in the sunset report? And I mean, I wish I would have done that. And that's why I'm taking this opportunity now, because this new issues identified is a perfect place to put that and see if they will carry the language.
Okay, thank you for the clarification. And then, do we need to make a motion or can we just say we would like to include it in section 12?
Yeah, I similar to adding the information to the section 4 earlier, if you could, direct staff to include the amendments proposed in 2570.4 and 2570.6, then we will be sure to, add that to the sunset report. Thank you.
Okay, President Pavlovich, can you please do that?
Yes. So Heather, can we carry that over so that we can include sections, amendments made in section 2570.4, section 2570.6 to be included in the sunset report? What did I miss?
Yep, we
Okay.
noted. Thank you.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, Lena. Thank you, Heather. I see, is Jeff able, just checking in, how is the audio working with Jeff?
Jeff is connected.
Yay, this old computer is going hasta la bye-bye, so.
All right, just for meeting minutes, I know Jeff was trying, it's 3:50 that we formally had heard, so I'll just note that Jeff was here. We got him in at 3:50. Hi, Jeff.
Hi, y'all. Sorry I wasn't here at the beginning.
You're here now, and we are, Jeff, I don't know, we are just finishing section number 12.
Yeah, I was actually on when you were moving to 9, but you couldn't hear me.
Okay. So if we're moving on from section 12,
I have two things in section 12.
yes, please share, Richard.
Again, not super substantive. At the bottom of the page, there is a parenthesis at the very end of this page that we're on. It says emphasis added, but I don't see any emphasis added. So either we could remove emphasis added, or there could be emphasis added. And then on the next page, the first paragraph where it talks about the rising costs of expenditures in court reporters, which seems to be attributed to the recent contract amendments changing from hourly to flat. But the wording of the sentence says the contract amendments changing from hourly to flat are attributed to the rising costs. I think but the way I use are attributed, the costs are attributed to the contract amendments, but the contract amendments aren't attributed to the costs. Because one is the cause is the contract amendments, and the effect is the rising costs. And when I say when I use attributed to, I usually it's like you've got, there's a causality relationship between the thing on the first thing and the second thing. You know what I'm saying?
Richard, this is
seems-
Heather. Do you have a suggested edit?
Yeah, the rising costs are attributed to recent contract amendments changing from hourly to flat, all day, or 1 day half rates without regard to hearing length, as well as rates varying by geographical area. So just swapping the rising costs to put that at the beginning are attributed to, and then recent the language at the beginning of the sentence, recent contract amendments changing from hourly to flat.
Thank you.
Thanks. I have nothing further.
Nothing further, section 12, Richard? Heather, just on the section 12, actual page 77, the last paragraph, I just want to make sure the font's all the same. I know they're probably going to catch that, but the font is different from the rest of the document.
Yes, actually, we did use different fonts throughout. That was intentional, because sometimes people are skimming. They don't know the difference between like what the language is versus like reciting something.
Oh, okay.
If that happens maybe 6 to 8 times, and visually, if folks prefer for that to be all the same, we can certainly change that.
Well, no, has there been a problem with it before, Heather, in the census report? If not, then, I'm not going to worry about it.
Well, no, I know, but it's the board report. I mean, yes, board staff, put it together, but it's your report. I want the report to, reflect, what you want. We don't want it just, grammatically correct. We want it, professional, and, so please, any suggestions, we're happy to incorporate them.
Was the emphasis added possibly that you changed the font to make sure that it stood out more than others? Is that the emphasis you might be referring to?
That is not. I'm going to have to
Okay.
go back and look at that.
Okay.
Thank you. I mean, the problem is, we take these Word documents and then we make them ADA compliant, and it's just, even the PDF shows, any kind of trending issues that are, aren't on the paper ones. So I'll have to go back and look at the other version to see what it was. Richard is correct. I mean, either there needs to be emphasis in there, or, we need to remove it, and I will have to go check after this meeting. Thank you.
So Heather, in that light, I actually prefer the same font, but maybe italicized versus different font, but it's like minor. So when you guys, I would just leave it up to the board. If you go and you look at the other 6 or 7 sections that are also in different font, if you play around with them and decide that it works this way, or it works with, italicized, but same font, I'm okay either way. Just looking at consistency. So I would leave it up to board discretion.
Okay, well, I would like to leave it up to the professional design folks. I like that even better.
Perfect.
That sounds great. That sounds like a great idea.
That we will do
I
then.
agree with that.
I just wanted to thank board staff for their work on section 12 and for identifying many of the issues that we previously discussed and getting them included. So thank you for that.
Thanks, Denise.
Thank you.
Okay, any other discussion on section number 12? Okay, I don't see any hands up for public comment, so we will traverse and still continue on to section 13, which is considered attachments. And the rest of the bulk of the process here, and Heather, please chime in if I'm remiss in information. We have the board member guidelines and procedures manual. We have the occupational therapy assistant, workforce study. Excuse me. We also have, Heather, that document after the workforce study, what is that? With the kind of grid that shows the EO. Excuse me, I'm gonna take a glass of water for a second.
So yeah, one of the things that we were asked to provide is year-end organization charts. And so because staffing levels change, vacancies change, so they asked for the year end. So the last 4 years ending June 30th, this was what the org charts look like.
Okay, so we have the organizational chart.
Standard state thing.
Okay. Has the O chart, the organizational chart, and then we have the board member meeting attendance. I think that there, then you have the strategic plan that's in place is the last item here for attachments under section number 13. Is there any discussion on these attachments that are here?
I have a comment on my attendance, page 125. I don't know if we wanted to specify what the work group meeting was on my attendance. And then also, I don't know why my attendance wording is highlighted in blue.
I'm sorry, Lena, this is Heather. What page was that, please?
125.
Oh, Linda, you're talking about the blue highlight on the word
Yeah.
meeting attendance?
Yeah.
I do not know why that is blue.
Linda, that's because you're groovy.
Oh, thanks. I like that.
I just want to take a look at
So,
that.
yeah, my other question was like because some of our meeting attendance says like committee meetings and some of them specify what the committee meeting was. I didn't know if we wanted to make them all uniform and then actually put what the committee meetings were as just say work group meetings or committee meetings, because some of them specify and some of them don't.
So it looks like when I compare yours to Denise's, it's the top piece was left out. So on Denise's on page 128, it's fieldwork communications work group
Yeah.
meeting. And so the fieldwork communications, I guess in the copy and paste got left out. So
Yeah, no, I was just wondering because like Richard also has like just committee meetings, but then he also has reg affairs committee meetings. So I just wanted to know if we wanted to make it uniform and specify what the committee meetings were.
We can go back. So other than the one for Richard, did you note any other ones?
Richard has them, Jeff has it.
Oh, that's interesting. It's the same exact meeting.
Yeah.
I wonder if when staff looked that up, they couldn't tell. I don't know. I'm kind of confused by that.
Yeah. So yeah, it was Jeff and Richard that also has that.
So that's the only place that, so yes, so staff will look at the June 21, 2019 committee meeting and find out what it was and identify that.
Okay.
Yeah, actually, I'm noticing, I know this is very minor. Teresa Davies, the April 11th, 2018 is a meeting board instead of a board meeting. So, yeah, that's just a transposition of the meeting and board instead of board meeting. On page 125.
I see that. Yes, we will fix that as well.
Ooh, good catches.
All this super tedious stuff, it's I have to hand it to you, going in, all the little minutia.
Agreed. Any other discussion for the attachments in section number 13?
I'm ready to vote to approve the report with the changes we've discussed today.
Yeah, that takes us to agenda item number 6. As we pair that, we're looking at, we've seen it, it's in totality. So Richard, that's a discussion and possible action on Sunset Review Committee report and recommendations. So keeping in mind, Richard, what we did in section number 4 and section number 12, do you remember those? Or Heather, do we have to mention those in the motion because we kind of took care of it on the way?
You could ask Helen this question. I don't know if saying the additional language staff was directed to add to section 4 and 6, like if that would be sufficient. I would defer to Helen. And then if not, I have more ideas. Helen?
Sorry about that. I'm trying to hit all my buttons. I have no problem with the statement as given previously that says accept the report with the changes made. However, you can also say with the changes directed to staff to make, just so that everything is clear.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, Helen. Richard, does that help?
Sure, it was section 4 and 6, right? Is that what it was? 4 and 12. 4 and 6, 4 and 12.
I'm sorry, 4 and 12. I would just ask that maybe it says the suggested edit, since you did go through the whole, thing, and then, but once the additions to section 4 and 12, that was, accepted of, staff suggested language or something. It's, there were edits and then there were amendments. Additions, I should say. So,
okay. So let me see if I can word that in a way that, so I move that the board accept the report with the changes and edits made during this meeting, including the additional language and suggested language for sections 4 and 12, which staff are then directed to add.
Second.
There's a motion by Richard and a second by Lena. I don't see any, Shirley, no public comment?
I am not seeing any hand raises nor any requests for in the QA.
Okay, noting that, Secretary Marcos, can we take a vote on the motion that's before us?
Of course. Richard Bookwalter,
Yes.
Lena Doe,
Yes.
Denise Miller,
Yes.
Jeff Farrell,
Yes.
Sharon Pavlovich,
Yes,
and Jackie McCluskey.
How can he vote?
motion carries. Denise, just, you're not on mute, just.
I have a question. Are we voting on the entire report?
Correct.
So respectfully, can Jeff vote when he came in at section 12?
Helen, can you clarify?
He can decide whether or not it's appropriate for him to vote. He did receive the documents.
I did review the documents. I did look at different things. There was a comment I had made about that I wasn't here to discuss, which was, can the board member raise the issue on policies on section 1 of the thing? But I did, since it had passed, it wasn't that big a deal to me. But there was a question that you could allow a board member to. It was on page 3. It said, second paragraph, the issue can be referred to the board, to a committee to delve into a policy issue concern to address issues raised by the public, licensee to the board, or a recommendation by board staff, but it never gave the board itself the opportunity to raise a question related to an issue or concern, which I thought should have been a good add, but I wasn't here to talk about it, so I wasn't going to worry about it. That was really the only thing in here that I had any significant question on.
And also there was an opportunity to do that when you came back, if while we're taking the vote. So I guess you've kind of missed that vote. But other than that, I have no problem with the member voting if he so wishes.
Thank you for the clarification, Helen. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Helen. Okay, so we had a vote, right? It carried. We're good with that, correct, guys? All right, that is agenda item 5 and 6. We called the vote. We completed it, right, Beata? Oh my gosh, I'm losing my marbles. We completed the vote, correct? Yes. Okay. I think we could do a double thing here because we need to convene to go into closed session. But as we do that, I think it'd probably be a good point for like a 15-minute break. And then we can reconvene into closed session to do the work that we have before us in terms of the disciplinary matters and performance evaluation. So with that, what are we at? 4:07. Shelly, I'm going to make you do math. What's 15 minutes?
15 minutes is going to be, and then I
4:22.
got a math too, 4:22.
This is Richard. I have to leave the meeting at 6. So, just so you know.
Okay. Okay, Richard. 15 minutes, just, I know, again, I don't know if everyone's at home. We could do it in 10, but is 15 minutes okay with everybody?
Fine with me.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. 4:22. We'll come back and we'll reconvene in closed session. Hi, everybody. It's 4:22. Just want to do a check-in, make sure we have quorum going into closed session. Secretary Marcos, do you mind taking the roll call to see, make sure we have quorum going into closed session?
First, Richard Bookwalter.
Here.
Lena Doe.
Here.
Denise Miller. Here. Jeff Farrell.
Here.
Sharon Pavlovich.
Here.
And Beata Marcus here.
It was good. Thank you, Beata. I'm like, Beata. We have a quorum going into closed session. So are we okay as board staff? Is everybody who needs to be here and everybody gone who needs to be gone or for closed session?
Let me look. So looks like we've got Jody and Janine are still with us. Are both of you going into closed session?
Hi, Shelley. It's Jody. Janine's in the process of logging off right now. It will just be me for the disciplinary closed session with Helen.
Okay,
Yes,
so
I will
Janine, if
log
you
off
can
right
pass
now.
me the presenter role first, please.
Okay, let me dry out your face so you don't have to repeat.
There's paper.
All right, I'm gonna take us into the closed room.
Oh, no.